Hello out there. How is everyone today? Okay, so Wellbeing Wednesday, going live with you all, getting into the flow of doing these. So if you're joining live, then send me a little message because I can see that people are there, but I don't know who it is. So if you are there and tuning in live, then say hi, let me know who it is. And if you watch the replay, then as always, just type replay so I know who tuned in and listened to me. Okay, so today we are going to talk a little bit about planet. So one of our three pillars, we have mind, we have body, we have planet. And I thought it would be good to talk a little bit about sustainable living. So, oh, hello there, Rosa from the Maldives. How gorgeous. Lucky you. Thank you for tuning in. So, planet. One of the reasons we incorporate planet into our pillars is because when you think about well-being, yes, we want to feel well individually. We want our loved ones to feel well. We want the wider collective to feel well, but it really depends on the planet being well. So what could be more important than the well-being of this planet? Because it needs to be here. We need to sustain it in order for all of us to be here. So this week, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sustainable living, and I'm going to do that by debunking the myths around sustainable living, and then I'll share my views on what sustainable living is for me. You might have a different perspective. That's totally fine. And then I'll give you a few tips to living more sustainably. So let's start with debunking some of these myths. Okay, so the first one is around detox. And we hear this word a lot when we think about sustainability and different types of chemicals that might be out there. And the fact is that sustainable living is not around detoxing from absolutely everything. Unless you're living in some remote part of the world, you have no internet connection, you have no connection with anyone else, it's virtually impossible to be completely toxic free. So what we're aiming for every step of the way is lower tox. So strike detox off of your, move it away from your vocab. And when you're thinking about sustainable living, think about less, think about lower. That takes a lot of pressure off us too. It's like freeing to think, okay, well, I'm not trying to do zero. I'm just trying to do less. It's like when you maybe go to think, oh, start the new year. December was such a busy month with going out to eat and drink, and everyone is so merry. And now I'm starting January, and I'm never going to drink again, or I'm never going to eat cakes again, or whatever. That's not a nice feeling. It puts so much pressure on. Plus, it's like, is that realistic? So lower tox. Every step of the way, low, not completely toxic free. And the second myth is that this is not about perfection. You can't be perfect at this, and I'm right there with you. I had my method when we moved a few months ago. We didn't just move cities, we moved countries. So I had my method. I had my ways when I was living in London. I knew exactly where I did my shop, that I could get the specific products. And then we moved to another country. I had to learn a whole new way around doing things, and I'm still figuring it out. But I do the best that I can for the moment that I'm in, and I acknowledge when I feel maybe I'm not doing it as well as I want to, but I also recognize that it's never going to be perfect, and that if I can take one step forward each day, make small changes, then that's better than nothing. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is that it is a process. And actually, my theme for this week, when I'm teaching my yoga class, is trust the process. And that's the same here. This doesn't happen overnight. It is a process, and you need to look at it as a process and as a journey. And you're never necessarily going to get to the end destination, because each step of the way, there's something else to do, and that's okay. Even my teacher, when I was starting to go down this path, learning about, what toxins were in the foods, what toxins were in the products that I used. Even she, 10, 12 years in, she said there's still things for her to replace and adapt. And it's a learning. This is a learning process. And as long as we are open to learning, adapting, changing, that's the best advice. That's the best way to go. So this is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. And just go on your journey. Go on your journey towards sustainable living, and knowing that it is, it's about lower tox, not completely detox. And again, this is the final myth, that it's compartmentalized. It is not compartmentalized. This is not just one part of your life. There are so many aspects that sustainable living will impact in your life. And that is whether it's, the food that you choose to buy, whether it's the products that you put on your skin, even the people that you choose to be around. We all have people in our lives that are somewhat toxic to us. That has an impact on us, and we need to be aware of why we choose to spend our time with people that are maybe have a toxic energy, and that we absorb that, and then maybe choose to not have them around us as much as we did in the past. Okay, so those are my 4 key myths that I think are important for you to understand. And then when you think about sustainable living, for me, sustainable living is really about getting back to nature. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be in the countryside. It doesn't mean you need to be living in nature itself. It's just that you're starting to you can do this when you're living in a city. It's just that you're starting to make decisions and choices that are more natural, coming from natural sources. And that's when it comes to the food that you eat, what you put on your skin, what you put in your body. Marketing. Big brand marketing has done a really good job at selling us cheap convenience. And if you start to investigate a little bit more, you'll recognize that those cheap, convenient items are really not good for us. They're not good for our loved ones, and they're surely not good for the planet. So sustainable living is about getting back to nature, making choices that are more aligned with things that are within nature, and that we're making educated choices that are good for us. They're good for our loved ones, they're good for the community, and they're healthy for the planet. And that means you need to be educated and make those educated decisions, not buy into big brand marketing. And then sustainable living is also, it starts with sustaining yourself. We need to have this balance of working hard and playing hard sometimes. Working hard and resting. So we have our work ethic and we have our rest ethic. We need to have the yang, but we need to balance that out with the yin. When I teach yoga, I love teaching my power practice, but then I also know that having a yin practice is so important to decompress my muscles and start working into the joints. And that's the same here. If you are busy all the time, ticking everything off your to-do list, but you're not giving yourself, your body, or your mind a chance to rest, then you're not able to sustain yourself for the long term. So living sustainably definitely has to do with sustaining yourself. And then finally, for me, the 4th thing that living sustainably incorporates is about bringing more positivity into this world. Thank you for that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Bringing more positivity, more kindness into this world. Kindness and compassion are just not, we don't give it enough, we don't rate it high enough. Hi, Amy, so nice to see you there. Your name does pop up on screen. It's good to know that. So yeah, kindness and positivity. And when we start to bring kindness and positivity into our lives, that just creates this ripple effect that is going to have an impact on the people that that are surrounded by you, that you're surrounded by. And it just keeps going out from there. So invite positivity, invite kindness, and that will have a ripple effect. I love this quote, one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. And I think this is so important to remember when you are starting to go down this path to live more sustainably, is you do the best you can until you know better. And when you know better, you do better. So here are my tips to move towards a more sustainable lifestyle. Number one, start with why. Me just telling you that it's important can't be your why, because it will not make a lasting change. So what is your why? Why do you want to live more sustainably? Maybe it's because you've had a health concern. I mean, I had a chronic immune issue that went on and on and on, and that was one of my reasons for changing my lifestyle. Then I realized, as I got educated, that actually these decisions that I was making had an impact on my children, and how the planet that they're living on is being impacted. So, but my initial why was my health. So really connect with your why. And connecting with your why, that could be finding a little bit of stillness every day. Because when you are really busy and when you are consumed by all the things that you need to check off your to-do list, or all the things that have to happen, you don't have space to actually think and connect with why you want to live more sustainably, or anything else for that matter. So stillness, that is always my recommendation. Even if it's 30 seconds of eyes closed, just feeling your breath, feeling your body move, stillness every day, consistency. And then let yourself be educated, be open to education. I mean, and the right education. So there is a lot of greenwashing out there. Products do not have, if it just comes to products, they can say they're organic. They can say that they are, they're good for you, when they really aren't. There's actually no regulations for lots of different brands to be putting different terminology on their products. They use it as marketing. Get educated on ingredients, get educated on the facts, get educated on what you should be looking for. Don't buy into greenwashing. And then when you do learn a little bit more, then I found that opened a door. So the person I started learning from, Alex Stewart, check her out, Alexx Stewart. She's based out of Australia, and she has a book called Low Tox Life, and she has a club and courses. But once I started reading up, that then opened the door for me to start understanding lots of different things. So it goes back to that point that this is a journey. There's no end destination. We just open our minds and our ears and learn, enjoy the learning process. And then my final tip is take it one step at a time. This can be totally overwhelming if you are trying to change some of your choices. You all of a sudden realize there's so many things that need to be changed and I was there, I lived it. And the recommendation was take it one step at a time. But did I listen? No way. I thought, I'm going to change everything all at once. And it was like, I had to change my food. We had to change all the products in our house. We had to change the type of car we were driving. We had to change how we commuted, everything. And that is like overwhelm. So don't do that, because you'll be overwhelmed, and then you're overwhelmed everyone around you. Choose one thing, like figure out your why, and then that will help gear you towards the direction of where you should start. Once you feel like you've done, maybe it's a room, you start in the kitchen. Maybe you do that and make some transition there. And then you move on to the next room, or you move on to the next part of your life that you want to make some changes in. Don't do it all at once. One step at a time, and trust the process. It is a process. It's a journey, and we're open to learning. And as long as you are connected with your why, and you keep going back to your why when things might get a little bit rocky or you're questioning, that helps you stay the course, and that allows you to make long-term sustainable changes that are good for you. They're good for your loved ones, whether they're little babies. Amy, I know you have a little one. Whether it's for the people that you work with, for the broader community, and then ultimately it is having a positive impact on the planet. So there you go. I hope this was useful. For all of you that watch the replay, as a reminder, please let me know that you watch the replay by typing in replay. And I will be coming to you live every week, 12 o'clock, 15 minutes, to give you some tips, advice, a little practice every once in a while around our 3 pillars: mind, body, and planet. So until next week, I hope you all